Welcome to another one of our inspirational builds. My name is EqualPlay.
I'm Twyxtwo.
And together we are Curious Gamers.
And today, you appear to be curious about building in the Badlands.
Yes, it's a very odd thing to be curious about, but I like the challenge. And this is what I came up with.
It's a wonderful build, and I really like it, and you have inspired me.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I'm really happy with it as well. It came out really well, and I really like how well it fits into the landscape. And of course, we'll be going through what I did to create this wonderful build. And you helped.
So should we dive in?
Yes. These are the Eroded Badlands.
Which is a very interesting biome.
It is. It's not one I've thought to build in before, but I really love these spires that you get. And it really reminded me of, I was on a holiday once to Cappadocia in Turkey, where you get these little fairy chimneys. And they've got lots of caves and people live in them. It's just so cool. Like, I thought it'd be really nice to do like a treehouse, but on these spires. So, I had a look through my little book, and there's actually a treehouse in it, so I used that as kind of the inspiration of the platforms. And that was basically the inspiration for this. Is I thought about the Eroded Badlands and what I could do, and came up with a totally not treehouse thing.
So you built a not treehouse on a giant stone pillar.
Yeah, I thought it was something a little bit different.
No, it's a cool idea. You don't like to make life easy for yourself. Building things basically floating is not easy.
No, there was much death in this while I made this, very much so.
From that, so you've got the Badlands. You decided this is where you were going to build. What did you do next? Did you pick your colours?
Yeah, so then I figured I'd use a similar colour scheme, so I figured acacia would be the best main wood to build my tree house out of. So yeah, then I needed to go and find some acacia. I figured it would pair nicely with some oak, and I basically went from there. Of course, I'm going to need some cows and things.
Yeah, you're going to need the basics of the farm, so yeah, exploring is always a part of this.
Yeah, definitely. So then, of course, I needed to go and get the materials. And yeah, there's not really much going on in the Badlands. It's kind of a bit...
No, they're quite barren, aren't they? If you're lucky, you get some oak.
Yeah, I was not lucky. So I had to trek myself off, get myself... Because yeah, I literally didn't even have enough to make a crafting bench. Like, there's just no logs. So my first thing was literally to go and punch a tree, just any tree. So I went and gathered some oak, and of course while I was there I started getting hungry, so I picked up a bit of salmon from the local pond. And while I was there I was set upon by a whole bunch of mobs and a wandering patrol, so I was like, ah!
Starting any world in the Badlands is pretty unlucky, especially as like non-hostile mobs don't spawn there either. So all you've got is mean things and no resources.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to set up camp, but we do like our interesting builds. Of course, while I was gathering oak, I then was set upon by a wandering patrol, and I was just like, okay, now I've had enough of this. So I went back and dug myself a mine, and got myself a little bit of armour.
That seems sensible.
Yeah. I then decided I was still hungry, and there was like a village just over the way. So I visited it, and yeah, they had tons of hay, and it was really great. Well, I had a few problems while I was there, so I'll roll some footage, and you'll see what I mean. That was really, really scary. I've only got half a heart. Please, give me food. Give me food. Crafting tench. Shoo, go away. Save me. Okay. Oh, good. Oh. I saw nothing. Where are you going? There is death out there. There is definite death out there. Help! Where did all these guys come from? Oh, there's so many of them. Oh, I need a crafting bench so that I can turn the wheat that I've got. Oh, that's a bit of the iron golem. He's just walking around with iron golem guts. Oh, help! Oh. Okay, excuse me, mate. I can't even rest. There's monsters nearby. And then so yeah. After that adventure, I then needed to go back to the base, and then I needed to come some acacia and some cows because once again, don't get any of those in the Badlands.
You don't. Like I said earlier, you do not get any mobs other than hostile ones.
It was a right trek as well. I had to go miles.
Well, Badlands also are quite often really big as well.
Yeah, it was huge. I loved, I kept stopping and taking screenshots because it's so fantastic terrain now with the 1.18 update. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I did eventually come to a big wide meadow thing and got myself some acacia. So I was
finally got some resources. Well done.
I did. I got a little bit of acacia. I got a little bit distracted by the mine. There's this gigantic cavern, and there was a mine shaft in it, and I just couldn't help myself. So after dying in there a few times, I figured it was probably time to go back home. Luckily, I had come across a wandering trader, so I did actually have some leads. So I grabbed some cows and then trekked all the way back again. And you think that's hard on your own? Try it with livestock. And then, of course, partway back, I was once again set upon by mobs, lost a cow. And it's alright, I've saved you guys the trouble. I went all the way back, got another one, all the way back again, and then I did eventually get them both home safely.
So now at least you have food.
Yes, and I have some oak and some acacia. And then I remembered that I needed to collect some sand, so it was a good thing that I had a desert nearby. And while I was doing that, of course, I was doing the sugar cane that I picked up on the way back with the cows. And then I was all set.
So this sounds like it's a build that didn't really need very many resources, not really.
This is true. In theory, it didn't need many resources. In practice, the resources were miles away from where I decided to build.
Well, that sounds like it's a you problem.
Yes, so if you're going to do this build, I do recommend picking these things up on your way to the Badlands. Try not to start there if you can help it.
Yeah.
But anyway, then, onto the build itself.
How did you go about building your first platform? Because, building floating things is not easy.
It's not, especially in survival mode. I'll tell you what, my attempt to, my proof of concept of this in creative was so much easier. But I started by just putting a collar all the way around where I wanted one block lower than where I wanted the platform to be. And then I went around the edge of that with some stairs, and then I went round underneath that with slabs, so you got a really nice sort of supported look underneath. And then so on this one I did just do like one flat platform, but with some of the others later I actually do change the heights a bit, and then I do go back and change some of the heights on this one, but yeah, just for ease.
So what I like about this is that you're taking the shape of the pillar and the landscape. You're not. So I would do normal. I do the opposite. I carve out the landscape until it fits what I want it to be. You're building around it, which is an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, I actually did absolute minimal changing to the landscape, and I actually really liked it that it is the landscape on this. What I'm doing is I'm taking pillars and I'm throwing them all on different ones, and then like putting bridges in between each one. And so it was very much like you can take this as a concept, but you couldn't do a block for block tutorial on this because everyone's pillars are going to look different. And I really like that no matter how much inspiration you take from this, it's still going to be such a unique and different build to you. And I think that's fantastic.
It is, yeah. That does allow people to get ideas without having to copy, like, yeah, as you say, block for block.
And once I had my base platform and the main sort of feel of it, I then went round and did all like the fencing around the edge. So on this I used sandstone pillars and then acacia. So then I had logs, and it was actually really quite difficult because the shape was so odd to work out where I wanted the logs and where I wanted the walls. And then what I did is I put lanterns on the top of a lot of them randomly. So sometimes the lanterns were on the walls, sometimes they were on the logs. And I just did this really cute little acacia sort of border around the edge. So it all just worked really well together. And that was taken pretty much out of the book that I used as inspiration for the bite-sized builds.
I guess what your theory for this build was, you decide what you needed and you build as many platforms as you needed, just to make it a base rather than one platform.
Yes. So this first platform is my mine and my storage and my beds. And then I've got 2 other platforms planned for this one. So one of them is my food platform. And the other one is like all my magic platform, where that's where the portal and the enchanting table and the brewing stand are going to be. And then as you expand, you just make more platforms and just put bridges between them. And sometimes they might be quite far away, but that can also be an advantage because you don't have to hear your stupid traders humming at you if you built them like way over there.
Yeah, I like this storage area. The storage area is really quite cute.
Yeah, so I went with barrels instead of chests just because I find them a little bit more functional in terms of you can shove them down in different places and things.
They look a little bit more genuine than the chest, don't they?
Yeah, I just didn't feel like the place lended itself to chests as much. So I think actually for the whole build I used 1 double chest. I mean, I shoved some down the mine as well, but yeah, mostly it was the barrels, and I did think that just felt like it went better. So then once I had my first platform, I then needed another one. And on this one I did actually try and get a little bit more sort of up and down levels, which I do think really added to this platform.
That helps add a little bit of depth and visual interest, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would have done it on the first one, but I forgot while I was making it. So then I went back and I added some of them in later. But I think that is something like a learning from experience. So this for me is definitely at that first run round is do go a little bit up and down, and just a little bit actually makes quite a difference.
So if we go with my theory of building, which is the first thing is you sort out your shape. That's kind of the first step, is sort out your shape. The rest will follow from there.
Yeah, no, that is very much it. And yeah, I was just didn't get the shape quite right in the first one, but it got sorted. And then yeah, just while I was building this, I started my little farm off for my cows.
It is a very tiny farm.
It is a tiny farm, but then the whole point of this farm is all I need it to do is to feed the cows.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is just a starter base. It's if you want to expand later, then have more things like traders, etc. The base becomes then bigger to meet the demand.
Yeah, I really like that modularity of being able to add things and stuff. And then, the biggest challenge was, now that I had my cows, I then needed to get them up there, so I had to build a little staircase all the way up.
One block wide as well, that's brave.
Yeah, I regretted that.
Cows have a habit of falling off those.
Yeah, I regretted that. So what I actually did was I did a cow farm. I did go and get another cow. But I did the cow farm where you use the
Entity cramming.
The entity cramming, that's the word. Yeah, I used an entity cramming mob farm, a cow farm. An entity cramming cow farm is the words I'm looking for.
Well done.
And so that's all the wheat is for, is just to keep breeding them up so that they do just kill themselves, and then you've got leather and all the meat that you can need, and it's just a really simple and easy farm.
Yeah.
And it takes up hardly any space, which was the big point. So then it was all about connecting my two, I've got my two platforms, and currently you can't get from one to another. So then I had this really big challenge of doing a bridge for them.
Oh, bridges aren't easy.
And they're really not, particularly in survival. And it was a diagonal bridge as well. And I'm using campfires. Yeah. So I'm using campfires, which once you place them down, if you try and pick them up again, you don't have silk touch, they destroy themselves.
Yes, so then you have to make more.
Yeah, so I had to make extras. And this was just a pure trial and error of trying to get kind of like a suspension bridge feel. And I didn't get it.
Swing bridge type feel.
Yeah. So I didn't get it quite right to start with, but we fixed it in the detailing later. So it was all fine. But yeah, once again, did die a few times. The mobs underneath me definitely got me a few times in a row. And then once I'd done sort of the main part, I then went along afterwards with some fence posts and just gave it a nice bit of a run behind it all. And then it was just a nice, quick and easy way of getting back and forth between my platforms, and I was really pleased with that.
It looks good.
So once I'd done sort of the fencing around the edge of platform, the sort of the middle platform, I then decided I wanted to do the other bridge down, and that would set the height for my third platform. And the key difference between the third platform and the other ones is the third platform, I wanted to do kind of a spire going up the column.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that was actually a lot easier to do. And it actually looked really cool. So I would actually recommend that that's actually the best way to go, is I did an initial platform. And then I just went round and round and up. That was a lot easier.
I mean, it's not practical for all kinds of platforms that you would need for this base, but for what you use it for, it's really quite cool.
Yeah, and I found a spire that had a really good shape, that had these little alcoves in it. So again, I just used what was there, and I built around the train. And that worked really well, because then I could nestle in, the enchanting table with all my books. And then I did a little brewing area, and then I put the portal on the top.
Yeah.
And that, it just worked really well. And then I did all the fencing around that, and then it was just a matter of the finishing touches. So that's when you came along and you helped me with some of that decoration. I'm not so good at the detailing.
We did a little tiny bit of landscaping and a little bit of just adding detail. Which should we go and have a look at?
Yeah, let's go take a look at that.
What's up here?
So So that was one of the entrances, or there was... I added this little entrance over here. Whoosh! What about you? So yeah, for detailing, so we did drop down this section and connected it to another spire where we did the bubble elevators.
Yeah,
and
otherwise
that
it would have been a nightmare to get up and down.
Well, I had my ladders, but yeah, this was a lot easier. And we just added a bit of decoration onto the ground. It didn't really need an awful lot. It was just like a little bit of texturing here and there.
A little bit of texture, but one of the problems with using acacia is there's not very much that tones well with it.
Yeah, so what did we pick?
It's your build. We picked terracotta in red and normal, and we used logs and trapdoors and some stairs.
And some stairs to just give it... Because, yeah, there's not a lot that you can add to it.
No.
But yeah, you had the little mine up here.
Oh, is that where the mine is?
Yeah, there's the mine shaft. Whee!
This is the bed.
Yeah, and I figured I'd put a roof on it that kind of let a lot of the air through, but would keep you dry from the rain if it did rain. So I thought that was quite a cute little nod to like the temperature around here.
Yeah, and kind of camping in places.
Yeah. And then you've got this bridge, which I am really quite pleased with.
For a diagonal bridge, yeah, like bridges are not easy, and then trying to dig a diagonal one as well.
Careful, apparently we got a bit over enthusiastic in our decorating. Thank you. Oh, the cows are so loud.
So this is your evil farm.
That is my evil farm, yeah. Don't kill them! Don't... So what you do is you feed them, and they kill themselves.
Okay.
And yeah, so plenty of more storage. My little farm. You know, you can always add a few extra farms, like chickens and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to, but you only really need cows once you get to a certain stage, don't you?
Yeah, really. And then you had your enchanting, again, everything that you need there. There's space around the side and the back to expand and put more things if you wanted. But yeah, it was just all the way around here. Twisty turny. And then yeah, you have brewing, plenty of space for there. I did a little netherwort growing station. And then you have your portal at the top. And yeah, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
Not a very good portal location.
So some of the other things we did were these cute little stalls, just in case you have, for trading areas, if anyone comes to visit, make a bit of money. We put some lighting and plenty of the poor plants in this area.
They don't do very well, do they?
They don't. And then one of the key things that you suggested and added was a lot of fence postings underneath. And I think that actually really helped ground these builds into sort of the landscape.
Yeah, if you're not careful in Minecraft, everything can look like it's just floating and as though physics doesn't exist. Because, well, physics doesn't exist here. And that's one of my pet hates, is just things looking like they don't fit.
Yeah, so that looks really good and that really added to it as well. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, do you know one of the things I really love is that if you come a little bit further away from the build and look at it as a whole, it actually fits really well into the landscape. Like, you could almost walk past it and not really realise it's there because it fits in so well.
Yeah, and that's really what I was going for. Because, yeah, the thing with the treehouse is you don't really know it's there. It's up in there, it fits in, it's all the woods, and it's part of the tree. And I really wanted to capture that essence, but in a slightly new and different way.
Yeah, no, and I really like it because people generally don't build in the Badlands, and this is a really good way of doing it, and it really has fitted the theme you were going for.
Yeah. So I actually really hope that this can be really inspirational for people, and that maybe we'll see a couple of other people attempt their version in the Badlands.
It would be cool to see more builds in Badlands. But other people can do those, I'm not going to.
So, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you have found that inspirational, and like we said, hope to see some more builds in the future.
If you did like the video, give us a like, and we would appreciate any subscriptions that you would like to offer us.
Yes, all the subs.
All the subs.
All the subs. Because we do these inspirational builds, and you never know, maybe you'll get inspired.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time for our next wondrous build.
Bye-bye.
Bye.